Welcome back. This is Dr. Peter Shark with Gulf Coast Wellness, and I'm here to talk a little bit about what it is that we think about as Chinese medicine practitioners when we're assessing a patient and treating, and kind of what is the underlying philosophy of this type of medicine. So I brought my high-tech whiteboard again so I can explain the intricacies of that. So there are four main things that I look at when assessing a patient. They are the nervous system, organ function, blood circulation, and qi. If you don't know what qi is, or please, if you think you know what qi is, hint, it's not energy, please go to my What is Qi video. Okay. So we look at these four guys, and they should be working together in the body. In order for the body to function, these have to be working together. So when they're working together, we call that function. Okay? Function is my definition of health. If you look up the definition of health, one definition is the absence of disease. Well, we set the bar pretty low in America for what gets considered disease. So I'm going to say function is health. Okay, so what happens with people is they end up with a problem in one of these areas: blood flow, qi, organ function, or nervous system. One of these starts to decline. It starts to cause problems with the function. The first phase is what we call malfunction. Malfunction just means poor function. Malfunction's no big deal. Malfunction happens all the time. For example, if you bump your elbow and you get a bruise, that's a malfunction of the vascular system because of the blood has leaked out of the vessels. It's no big deal. You don't need surgery. You don't have to go to the doctor. Your body will just take care of itself. So in the malfunction phase, the body will still self-heal. Our whole body is built on a negative feedback loop, and that means that the body will fix a problem when the problem shows up. So, no big deal, malfunction. The problem is, if the injury to one of these areas is too great or the stress on it is consistent over time, there's no time for your body to fix and pop back to function. So, we end up with the next phase. Now, the next phase is invisible, and it reinforces itself. So instead of going back to function, it gets stuck in a loop. We call this phase the disease process. So disease process is when the body function, instead of going back to normal function, it starts to protect an abnormal state. So I'll give you two examples of that. One example is diabetes. In diabetes, there's too much sugar in the blood. Now, in type 2 diabetes, the problem is there is insulin, which is supposed to get the sugar out of the blood and into the cells. However, in type 2 diabetes, the body is ignoring the insulin and leaving both the insulin and the sugar in the bloodstream. That is highly inflammatory and leads to problems like nerve damage, heart attacks, strokes, really serious stuff. So the body is maintaining a diseased state. Another example is cancer. Now, obviously, if you have a bunch of abnormal cells, the best thing to do would be for your body to attack those cells and destroy them. But in cancer, the body builds blood vessels and sends blood and nourishment to those cells so that they can grow bigger and bigger. That's an example of a disease process where the body is maintaining this sick state. Disease process is invisible. You do not see a disease process. It's under the surface. So how do you know that something's wrong? Most of us do not know until we get the last phase. Symptoms. Symptoms are the last thing to show up and the first thing to leave. So when I see patients, they come in down here because of symptoms. So when we treat, we're raising function. Okay? At some point, we cross the line. We've crossed out of symptoms. But this, as you can imagine, is not a good place to stop treatment because you'll just simply go right back down immediately. So this is one big mistake that most people make with natural medicine. They come in, they do a drop-in style of treatment. They don't really have a treatment plan. Nobody's really assessed them. They feel better. They leave. Problem comes back. They come back. Now, if they love natural medicine, they'll just keep doing that and they'll be fine. Most people find that tiresome and they eventually conclude that it did not work for them because their problem continued to come back. So, if you keep treating just a little bit longer, you can get the body back into this position of health where it is actually able to recover on its own again. So then if there's an issue and something pops back up, the body's able to fix itself again. You don't end up just going back and forth between invisible disease process and symptoms for the rest of your life. This is the key to making natural medicine work, is to follow through until the function is really recovered. So I hope that helps. If you've had acupuncture or done some natural medicine in the past where you have gotten a lot better, but then your problem came back after a break, this is probably the culprit. You probably just need a good treatment plan that follows you all the way through to the function. And I hope you got something out of that. Please join us on our blog, wellgulfcoast.com, for more videos. Have a great day.